Hello everyone. So it's been a bit of a delay with the English versions for the last two videos. Apologize for it. I was caught up in a lot of things, and also new content preparation was taking time. So hopefully I'll finish off these two episodes in the English version and then continue with the new episodes by this weekend. So let's get into today's video. It's about stablecoin, especially about USDT. I had posted a tweet or posted a warning a couple of videos earlier about USDT, specifically Tether. Why holding Tether, there is a bit of a problem, and there are some issues with Tether that I wanted to convey. So we'll be talking about that specifically, and also a deep dive into what are stablecoins and some of the warnings associated with it. So before that, obviously, the disclaimer is that I'm not a financial advisor or investment expert. I just wanted to make it clear in every video so that this is clearer to people. Also, none of these content is financial advice or investment advice. I am learning on a daily basis, and whatever personal experience that I'm gaining, I'm trying to share the process with people so that it's easier for people instead of them learning these things. And whatever has taken me weeks or months to some of these concepts to understand and learn and get the knowledge, I'm kind of trying to share the knowledge with these videos. That's what these videos are for. And always do make your own decisions based on your own research. So what is the agenda for today? I'll provide a time-based index in my description. So if you want to skip to the particular agenda, you can do that as well. So we'll talk about stablecoin in general. We've talked about it in previous videos. We'll cover what a stablecoin is with a few examples. And then we'll dive deep into USDT and Tether and USDT, why we need to look at USDT and what are the issues with USDT and different protocols of USDT and why we need to understand the different protocols of USDT. And finally, the issues and risks holding your money as USDT. So obviously, start with, right, stablecoin is a cryptocurrency. Whatever said and done, it is a cryptocurrency. But the one big difference is that most of the cryptocurrencies, the values keep going up and down. The stable coins are pegged or fixed to a real world currency like US dollars or GBP. So it is pegged to the real world currency, and that pegging process makes sure that the value of that stable coin doesn't go up or down, and it always stays with the corresponding world currency that it is associated with. So generally, the reason why they are pegged or the reason why it works is because they are backed by a 1:1 ratio of real world money in the bank account. So most common real world currency is obviously USD, which means that if there is a cryptocurrency, a stable coin cryptocurrency that is going to implement USD stable coin, then they'll need to have the corresponding dollar amount in their bank accounts to prove that they have the amount so that they can peg and release the cryptocurrency. How does it work? So recently, other countries' currencies have also been pegged, and there are more and more currencies that are coming out as cryptocurrencies or stable coins. So in general, there is generally an organization that stands behind it, which is holding these currencies in their bank account, and then they are able to issue a corresponding cryptocurrency for it. So for example, TrustToken is a huge organization, and recently they've launched stablecoin cryptocurrencies in USD, in GBP, in Australian dollars, in Canadian dollars, Hong Kong dollars. So it's launched like 5 or 6 stablecoin cryptocurrencies. So it's called TUSD, TGBP, and so on. So TrustToken is gaining popularity these days. And these organizations, they mint new cryptos when they are able to deposit real money into their bank account, and they can hold that real money as a collateral. For example, TrustToken, as of the time that I made the video, 14th Feb, they had nearly $340 million in their bank account for issuing $338,000 million worth of cryptocurrency into the market. So the proof of these funds, the fact that they are able to hold these funds, right, that is very important. And what they do, most of these organizations, what they do is they get a third-party auditing firm, third-party accounting firm to come and audit their bank accounts, saying that those bank accounts are frozen, they are maintaining it on a monthly basis. The funds are always there in those bank accounts, and is controlled and it's audited, and the audited records are attested by an accounting firm, and the attestation is shared with the people. So for example, the TrustToken we spoke about, The attestations are available for anyone to easily verify in their website. You can go and verify the attestation that is by a third-party auditing firm and a reputed auditing firm. So you obviously know that the bank account validations are all correctly done. So some of them these days, for example, even TrustToken, these days they are starting to use technologies like oracles. We spoke about Chainlink, which is an irrefutable pricing mechanism for blockchain. So they are using concepts like Chainlink, and there is a collaboration that's done with Chainlink where they really don't need offline attestations. They can actually do live on-chain attestations where they can bring real-world pricing data, which means that through blockchain you can actually see that they have real-world money in their bank account. So that's the next step that they're going. That they're even doing away with the need to actually do those manual attestations by providing irrefutable proof that they have the real-world currency in their bank accounts. Now, another common stablecoin is USDC, which is issued or which was basically co-founded by Coinbase, and there's another big organization called Circle. So they created this popular stablecoin USDC, and this is also highly governed. The funds are maintained, they're maintained in licensed and regulated financial institutions. And before $1 of USDC can be minted, they need to make sure that the real world dollar is kept in their financial institution, and that is also attested on a regular basis as a report by Grant Thornton LLP, which is a very famous accounting firm. And every month you can actually see for the past 2.5 years, every month you can see month on month basis how much bank account balances are being maintained. It's completely transparent, and you can go and see the full audit report from the accounting firm. And they are also sometimes attested by different accounting services firm. The top 5 accounting firms are all coming and attesting these things. So the amount of audit and governance that these companies have for issuing these cryptocurrencies, these stable coins, is very, very high for USDC, for TrustToken, for most of these coins. So how does USDT compare to these other organizations, right? So USDT currently is the most widely used stablecoin, and it is issued by an organization called Tether Limited. In fact, Tether Limited were one of the very first companies that invented this concept of, or rather made this concept of stablecoins more popular, and they've been doing it for a few years now. So the amount of funds issued by the stablecoins, right, just a comparison will show you how much of dominance USDT has over the other cryptocurrencies. So for example, USDT, the amount of stablecoins or the amount of funds issued is about $32 billion today, or rather it was about 2 weeks back, right? But that's almost 2,300 crores in Indian rupees. And USDC, which comes next to it, is only $7.3 billion. Even though that is number 2 in the world in terms of stablecoin, is only, it's like less than 1/5 of what USDT has in terms of the world market. So 53,000 crores as compared to the 232,000 crores that USDT has in terms of Indian rupees. TUSD, which is the trust token that we spoke about, has roughly only $330 million. So almost very, very tiny as compared to USDT. So USDT is 100 times more than what trust token US dollar values are right now. So that's the kind of dominance that they have. Now that is market capital. Now if you look at the volume, right, the volume is even more staggering, even more wider in terms of the volume of transactions done using USDT. So on a daily basis, the comparable volume is nearly $118 billion of transactions happen using USDT, whereas only $1.9 billion happen using USDC. So that is quite staggering in terms of the market that USDT has captured. Clearly, the dominance of USDT over other stable currencies is huge right now. It is one of the widely used pairs. In fact, after Bitcoin, USDT is probably one of the most widely used pairs in terms of buying and selling a crypto coin. It's almost comparable to Ethereum, I would say. So USDT is issued by Tether in multiple blockchains or multiple blockchain protocols. And primarily USDT is issued in Ethereum network like all other ERC20 tokens. So USDT is predominantly a ERC20 token. But these days USDT is also issued in Tron blockchain, the TRC20 protocol, or the TRC20 as a TRC20 token. So And on top of it, it is also issued in two more blockchains, common, not very common, but it is issued in OmniLayer and EOS protocol as well. And why is it important? What is the reason that you need to know this, or why is it important? It's because even though ERC20 is the most commonly used protocol, widely used protocol for it, and it is supported by most exchanges, only the ERC20 token. For example, WazirX only supports ERC20 token. There's a lot of advantages with USDT on the other protocols, especially like the TRC20 protocols. We'll see with a live example now. So the reason it is important is because of the fees between ERC20 and the TRC20 token. So I'm going to just try and show you using ERC20 protocol, try and transfer the USDT from Binance to another supported exchange, let's say Bitrue, or from Bitrue to Binance. So if I use ERC20 for transferring nearly $50, the fees is nearly about $10. And if I use TRC20 on the other hand, to transfer the same $50, the fees is near negligible. It's almost 0.1 USDT, which means that it is literally zero. That's the advantage. So if we are able to transfer it using USDT, using TRC20 protocol or one of the other protocols, the fees is really low, and the speed of transfer is really fast as well. But obviously the support for ERC20 is the one that is widely available, and not all exchanges currently support ERC20, which is one of the reasons why we continue to use ERC20 protocol, and which is why the fees is more higher for transferring USDT. So if you are in India and you're using cryptocurrency, right, one of the things that you have to keep in mind is that USDT is also a cryptocurrency. Like all stable coins, like all other cryptocurrencies, USDT is definitely a cryptocurrency. It's not a dollar. So even though the exchange rate doesn't fall, exchange rate obviously will have an impact on USDT to INR. So when you're buying and selling cryptocurrencies, especially USDT, it will be directly impacting because of the exchange rate. But even otherwise, sometimes the exchange rate of US dollar to INR will remain same, but you could see a drop in the USDT value when you're buying it through INR. The reason is the panic or the market conditions of India could be different. For example, when there was an India crypto ban news that came out, where the parliament was contemplating it or considering it, it immediately caused an impact for USDT. So obviously, holding your crypto in stablecoin protects you against movements in crypto prices, but not the real world impact like the India issue that we had with regards to the crypto ban itself. But that's not the main issue why you should not hold, or you should not hold too much of your cryptos as a USDT. So what is the issue? We've spoken about all this, we've spoken about the dominance. What's the actual issue or the concern by holding USDT, right? So Tether Limited is the corporation that we spoke about, which actually started this concept of stablecoin with USDT. It was founded in 2014 by executives who were at that time part of a famous exchange, or they were in senior leadership position in a famous crypto exchange called as Bitfinex. Bitfinex is still operating. But in the early years, Tether Limited was trying to be completely transparent and claimed that it is built to be fully transparent at all times. That was their motto at the beginning of the company when they launched the company. But today, compared to the other stablecoin groups like USDC and TrustToken, they don't independently do an audit of their real world fund. There is no third party accounting firm that is coming and auditing their real world balances. They've in fact, the last few months, they've in fact stopped publicly disclosing how much real world funds that they have, which is a major concern. The last known published audit by a third party firm was done in 2018, when there was an accounting firm called Friedman LLP which came and did the audit like the other companies were doing, right? So that was the last audit that happened. And even then, it was not a full disclosure, it was not a full audit, because they had blacked out the names of the financial institution or the banks in which the funds are being kept. So the audit report was only saying that, okay, there are some funds in these financial institutions. It did not reveal the extent of which financial institutions or which banks that these funds were being kept, like the audits of the other organizations, other companies that are doing it right now on a monthly basis. Even this 2018 audit wasn't full, or wasn't a full disclosure. And in fact, immediately after this audit, Tether disengaged or discontinued the service with the accounting firm. and the accounting firm can no longer update or comment about what was in that audit or any details about the audit. So even the last audit that was done nearly 2 years back was not complete. And recently there's a lot of scrutiny that's going on. 2019, there was actually an intense scrutiny from American legal bodies, especially the New York Attorney General Office. And then after this scrutiny, Tether Corporation was asked to explain about the real world funds under oath. And that's when they first time admitted that USDT is not backed by 100% real world US currency, as was thought at that point of time. Till 2019, people were at least thinking that there is a real world US dollar currency behind it. What it stated instead was that it is collateralized by cash reserves and cash equivalent assets. Now, the catch is that it could include other cryptocurrencies. It didn't clarify what cash equivalent assets meant. And this was a shocking admission, and that's put more scrutiny on USDT and the ownership from Tether itself. Right, so Tether Limited has always maintained that it has no links with the crypto exchange Bitfinex after the initial creation where the executives had come from Bitfinex, right? So they've always maintained that, okay, that is a separate company, we are a separate company. But all of the recent investigations point out that there is a parent organization that is sitting behind Tether Limited and Bitfinex, even though Tether has not fully admitted or disclosed it or agreed to it. The main reason why this is relevant is because in 2019, Bitfinex was accused of losing nearly $850 million worth of crypto with the help of Tether Corporation. And New York Attorney General Office was accusing them of trying to cover it up together and sweep it under the carpet. And that legal case was going on, and it was settled recently. But obviously that threw a lot of light into what could potentially be behind the scenes between these corporations. Started to become a bit shady after that point of time. And in a sworn affidavit, Tether had recently admitted that the real world currency backing with US dollars in the bank accounts is only about 74% or lesser. Which means that if they have $100 million, only $74 million is backed by actual US dollar currency, whereas the original intent was that it should have been backed by $100 million of US dollar currency. So this creates a vicious circle and a false economy. How and why would it create a false economy? Because they're still saying that it's backed by real world assets, right? So let's just go back. If you had seen my episode 1, and you would remember there's a market capital story that we had explained using fruits and village people basically. So in a village of 100 people, if 50 people are buying fruits and each of them spend only 20 pounds or 20 rupees, then the total money available is only 1,000 rupees, which means that if there are 4 fruits, the amount of money 1,000 is equally divided. That determines, based on the supply of each fruit, how much the cost of those fruits could be. So that's theoretical maximum value of those fruits. So unless and until more money come in, you cannot increase the value of the fruits, or the supply of the fruits need to reduce. So with that supply of fruits, with that money, you cannot increase the price of the fruit. So to increase the market capital, increase the price of the fruits, people should spend more money, or people should have more money to spend in the first place. Now, imagine if they can borrow paper money from a bank. Like, for example, let's say a bank is saying that, okay, I can't keep bringing real world money to the branch because it's too far away in the village. And then let me maintain the real world money in a city branch. And then instead of transporting it to the village, let me print a paper equivalent in the village, because I can hold my money in the city branch. And whatever equivalent money that I'm holding in the city branch, I'm going to print it in the village. So the village people accepted, let's say, and then if they have 2,000 rupees in the city branch as the real world money, then they can lock it up in a locker, and then they say that, okay, I'll print paper money equivalent to issue it because I already have that money. So consider this as the equivalent. I will accept it, and we will all accept it. And there's a consensus. So now, apart from the 1,000 pounds that they had, now there is 2,000 pounds more paper money being issued, which is in real world money, because they have real world backing for it. Now they have 3,000 rupees or 3,000 pounds to spend on fruits, and let's say they spend everything on the fruits. Now all of this 3,000 pounds is backed by real world money. £1,000 belongs to the villages and £2,000 is in the city branch as a real world money. Now imagine that if everyone buys only apple with that £2,000, just as a theoretical example, right? Now the apples cost nearly about £60 each, which means that the apple value is £2,400 because of this extra money, because there are 40 apples. Because the earlier the apple value was total apple value was 400. Now the total apple value is 2,400. Now let's say the bank goes and buys or gets 20 apples, or they have 20 apples. Now, because they have 20 apples, now they decide to issue paper money because they have this asset, which is nearly worth £1,200. Now, it's not real money, but it's an asset. It's a cashable asset that they have. And they don't have real money. I mean, apart from the 2,000, they don't have any more real money in the city branch. But because they have this £1,200 worth of apples now, those 20 apples, they decide to issue more paper money, and they print another £1,200 worth of paper money in the village because they have these apples. And they say that, okay, I have 2,000 in the bank, and I have these apples which are worth 2,200. Let me print more paper money which is worth 1,200 because of the apples. Now you have the 1,000 original money with the village, the £2,000 paper money that was backed by real world currency, and the new £1,200 backed by apples. Now 4,200 is available in the village, of which 3,000 is the real world money. 1,200, the newly printed paper money, was just created out of this Apple ecosystem. Now what happens is, let's say that you put again the people get these paper money and they're putting the money again into apples. Now let's say the 40 apples, right? So obviously the 1,200 increase would mean that each apple is now £90 each. Now the bank, let's say, goes and buys another 10 apples or gets another 10 apples. They decide now to issue more paper money because now they have £900 extra because of the 10 apples that they have bought. Now they still don't have real money in the city branch. The real money is only 2,000. Now more paper money is printed, £900 is printed. Now if you look at it, so there's £3,000 of real money, £1,000 original money, £2,000 the bank branch in the city has got real money, and then this £2,100, originally 1,200 and now 900. So there's about literally more money that is being printed, £5,100 printed, but only 3,000 is backed by real money. 2,100 was just created because of a circular ecosystem that these guys are creating, because they're able to print the paper money using this apples, which was inflated in price because of the paper money in the original scenario. Now this is just a theory, right? So it may or may not happen because they've not disclosed what their financial assets are. But what it means is that it's creating a circular ecosystem, which means that it's inflating the prices of the apple in a circular way. It's just going on and on and on. So there's no way to confirm this theory fully. And every few days, billions and billions of dollars of Tether are being minted at an alarmingly higher and higher rate. So if you compare the whale alerts that are coming for Tether being printed or minted, it is considerably becoming higher, which could theoretically mean that real world organizations are giving them real world dollar money to buy USDT from them, potentially possible, but it could be a circular ecosystem as well. Now, if Tether gets accused by the SEC, Securities Exchange Commission, or the New York Attorney General, or any other legal body of fraud, of doing this, the example that I gave could be proven in court as a fraud or as a unacceptable practice for monetary issue, right? So if that gets proven in court that they are creating a circular asset-backed crypto system, that could theoretically make the USDT fail. This could cause a short-term collapse, because people will realize that there's really no real world money. The real world money in that example was only 3,000, and everything else was created out of thin air because of the circular ecosystem. That could trigger a collapse. That could, in the short term, that could trigger a collapse. But again, instead of panicking, let's just look at it, just to make sure that we are thinking about it and just be prepared for it. So in summary, right, I made a small mistake in my Tamil video when I made this. So in summary, right, crypto market capital when I made the video was like $1.5 trillion, of which USDT's market capital is only about $32 billion, which means roughly about 3-4% maximum crypto market capital is made up of USDT. And so even if USDT goes to zero, the market capital will only go down by 4%. And cryptos probably could lose around 4 to 5%, but it could be disproportionate, right? Because in reality, USDT may not go down to zero because 74% is backed by real world funds. We know that, right? So even though the circular inflation created by USDT repeatedly used over and again, be harder to compute and understand if it happens to be true, right? It could cause a bit of panic, or it could cause a bit of loss of faith, I would say, in the stablecoin concept during that point of time, which could cause a bit of an issue. But for now, the reason why I made this video is because information is wealth, right? So be aware of this fact that USDT or Tether has a checkered history and has got a bit of concern with regards to the transparency in which they are showing their data, the transparency in which they're maintaining the real world funds. Whatever transparency that was there has vanished about 2 years back, and right now no one is able to 100% certify that the USDT Tether value is justified with real world funds or with real world assets or not. So be aware of this and don't hold too much of your crypto in USDT. You can always trade with USDT. People had asked me in Tamil videos, but I do trade with USDT, but I don't maintain most of my balances. I mean, not more than 5% of my crypto balance at any point of time is held in USDT because now I'm just want to be risk aware of having it. So for overall stable coins, if confidence is lost, the value gets lost. That's the reason. So again, just a few bits of information that I wanted to share. And this is something that I had, because we had introduced the concept of USDT and stablecoin in episode 15 specifically, right? I wanted to kind of explain about this for a while and just made sure that I put all the information in relevant context so that you are aware of all of this. So hopefully this was useful. Until next time, thank you, bye.